Are we at it? Are we going? YouTube, welcome back to leg day today. This is going to be my first leg day in 3 weeks, believe it or not. So it is interesting because I've been having conversations with people who are close to me and who are sort of sharing, you know, their thoughts on, you know, where I should go, what I should do in terms of this training split and food and things. Oscar Young, who I mentioned last time, and Nif Styles as well, a big influence on me at the minute. And talking about, you know, let's not try and think of leg days as something we need to back off. Why don't we just go in and put legs in out of the forefront? Why don't we try and have some of the best fucking legs in the world in classic physique and go down that route? You know, have undeniable legs, which I've got no doubt I can do. So I'm thinking, right, okay, yeah, let's add legs in every week. So every Wednesday, you know, we'll just train legs, full legs, you know, quads and hamstrings. And then I've just been doing some posing upstairs. I don't really look at myself much at the minute, but if I do some posing, I'll do it with shorts on. So I'll hit a few poses, shorts on. Great upper body's coming on really well. But then if I do it where I've just got briefs on, my quads are just still so dominant. So I could be in a pose and be like, right, okay, I'm looking really muscular, I'm really happy with that. I could be in a pose with no shorts on and it makes my upper body look inferior compared to the size and density of my legs. So it's like, fuck, that indecisiveness again. However, I'm going to put them in every week and just go with that and just see, not necessarily what recovery is like, because at the minute cycle's only been 10 days, potentially in 10 days. And I feel like my recovery is just next level compared to what it was. Fullness, everything is coming so fast this time. So, you know, let's take advantage of it and just try and do everything we can. If it's a little bit too much, then, you know, I can always take it out here and there, or have sporadic days where I maybe don't train the legs. On a Wednesday, if I need a rest, I'd use it as a rest day. But we're going to have a little bit of a stint on training legs every week. Like, that's something new. But it is what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you through, you know, just how I set up my usual pre-intro post-workout nutrition, and then have a little bit of a chat while we're doing it in terms of where we are. So last time you would have seen that I was around 260 pounds, so I'm 262 this morning, a little bit heavier. A few things have gone on in the last couple of days that have just knocked my appetite slightly, knocked my digestion quite badly, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But apart from that, everything's been flying, everything's been going really, really well. I can't complain with how my training, nutrition and everything's gone, to be fair. So it's nice to be able to come to you and be like, okay, nothing's gone wrong. Everything's going as it should do. So with it being quite warm in the UK at the minute, or warm in the gym at least, warm to us in the UK is what, 20 degrees plus. There's no air cons in gyms and they're just like 10. So I always try and make sure that I have ice in my pre and my intra and even in my post. Just running out of ice there. But if you're very hot and very warm and flustered and you're training, your appetite is going to be affected. So like I was speaking to clients yesterday, try and get as much cool drinks in you as possible. It doesn't have to be fizzy drinks like cameraman drinks, but what it asks, you know, just making sure that you have beverages that are cool, just to keep you cooler, because when you're hot you don't want to eat. If you feel cooler through drinking cool beverages, you're likely to eat a little bit more, in my opinion. So Carb Max from Strom is my carbohydrate of source. 75 grams of carbs going in from this, which is 90 grams of this. This is one of my favourite sitting carb powders. If you're from the UK or Europe even, and you've not tried Carb Max, I would highly recommend that you try it, especially if powders don't sit great. I'm also very messy when I do this as well, as you can probably see. But I tied your pot for myself, so it's okay. Right, so Carb Max in, this is intra. Got the grunt at the minute, I really like it. Just the flavour, 15 grams of essential amino acids. Hydromax. Woo! The God Almighty saviour of bodybuilding, which is just like a hydration drink. Electrolytes, so vitamin C, taurine, cranberry extract, cocoa mineral, dandelion root extract. Just one serving of that. Creatine, 10 grams or 11. Glutamine, 10 grams. And then I have 1200 ml of water with this. It seems like a precise number, but it's just because I know that's the amount that I drink comfortably through a session. If I have a litre, I maybe need a little bit more. If I have a litre and a half, it's maybe a little bit much and I'm chugging it near the end. So 1.2, for whatever reason, seems to be the one. Then my pre-workout would be Vascumax, 2 scoops of that, Stimumax Pro, half a scoop of that. But did Joe, you say you've got some pre-workout for me to try? What are you laughing at? Right, let's get it, let's have a go. Right, okay, so I forgot as well, in the excitement of YouTube, 2 to 3 grams of pink salt. I don't measure this exactly right now, I just know got a little bit more today because it's legs. I know that that's like 2.5, 3 grams. Right, all right, so what you give me, Joe? So
this is oat drive, and it's basically, it's by like a TikToker guy. Right, okay. So take that how you want. It's got 250 milligrams of fast-acting caffeine, and 125 of slow acting, and then a few like nootropics.
Yeah, I mean it looks fine, but the caffeine's quite high, to be honest with you. Well, it's not actually, but it is.
That's 600.
Yeah, so I mentioned last time as well, I am obviously a Strom Sports nutrition athlete, but Strom also sell a lot of other products. I'm really not an athlete to be like, use this because it's the best and it's the only one. I just hate that. And one of the reasons why I didn't have a supplement company sponsor for a long time, because I didn't want to promote just one thing. And I'm not necessarily promoting this, but I didn't want to be locked into a contract where you can't try fucking another brand of creatine or we'll sack you, which some contracts are most definitely like that. But we'll give it a go. My mate's give me some pre-workout and I'm going to try it. But I'm not going to do a full scoop, because Stimumax Pro has 250 caffeine in it and I can't do it. Not anymore. It smells alright, you know. It's a big old scoop that though, isn't it? Why is it so long? It's like a fucking serving spoon. That's a lot of pre-workout that though. 18 grams, servings per tub 25. Also one scoop is 15 grams. Right, so I'm gonna do 9. And another thing as well, I don't know about you guys, my appetite on leg day is terrible. So when CNS has been smashed and you've trained yourself into the ground, the last thing you want to do after a session like that is eat. And I'm usually sick a lot on leg days, so I've always stayed away from having pre-workouts in leg days generally. So we'll see. But I do apologise to Amf Bales if I'm sick in his gym. It looks shit, but we'll have a go. Right, so that's my water for the morning. That's 3 litres in this morning and we're ready to go. Also, before we go, I want to touch on the new, is it there? The new oversized launch drop, if you like. We're just refining things a little bit, new, better website, better systems, and this is going to be like the new, so we're going to get these here. The idea is random tags in random places. And on the back of this one, it's just like oversized, bigger than usual size, sort of the meaning of oversized, with a few other things as well. And we're gonna try and do it where you can choose which one you have. So with the little labels here, I think it's quite cool. Or you can just pick a random and it can be in a random place, which I think is a little bit different. Again, same great quality, really good in off season. As you can see now, I'm getting quite large and big, so I'm gonna have to stop wearing tight t-shirts and hide the mass, like Dorian. Right, that's yours. That's empty. These are back in the cupboard, and then I think we're good to go, aren't we? It's a 40-minute drive to the gym, so I'll drink that on the way. Otherwise, we'll be buzzing our chops in Joe's. What is it? Is it a Fiesta or a?
Yeah, 56 plate Fiesta.
In Joe's 56 plate Fiesta, and that car is not equipped for for a £260 man to be jumping around like Donkey Kong in it. We get this packed up and then we'll see you at the gym. Right, you know the drill by now. Adductors to start. Same principle with legs today. So 4 sets on most things. Almost like a warm-up, a working warm-up, an initiation, and then last set failure or close to failure. So like a 20, 20, 15, 10, something like that. Just pyramiding up, but I use the warm-up sets, if you like, as counted working sets, because I'm still making sure I've got full tension on the muscle. I'm not just going in and going. I'm still making sure that I'm getting everything out of it at this weight. Basically, like Lee Haney says, try and make the lightest weight as heavy as possible. So squeezing, full stretch. I'm safely been able to full stretch because the weight's light enough. I'm finding out my hips want to be back a little bit. Right, okay, I get a good stretch, get a good squeeze. My hips want to be forward a little bit. I get a better stretch when my hips are forward. Not as good squeeze. So press my hips in the middle, good stretch, good squeeze. That's where I want to be. So now I know exactly where I want to be on the warm-up set. I know the pace I want to be moving at. And I know exactly what I want to be feeling every single rep. And then we just get heavier every set. So far I'm giving that pre-workout 10 out of 10.
The long-lasting caffeine I've even set in yet. So
Well, I'm about to go and start fucking supersetting them with Stairmaster in a minute. Just keep me occupied. Whew. It's not going to end well, this. I'm going to crash like fuck. I feel poorly later. And another thing as well, something I spoke to my clients about, when you train on your own, I don't know if I've mentioned this before actually, it's very difficult to time the rest in between your sets and you go in very quick. So now I'm like, right, I want to go in. Do that the full session. By the time you're at third exercise, you're completely burnt out because you've just not allowed yourself enough recovery time between your sets, and then your quality of sets drop as well. So just one thing I started doing, I don't need to do it now because I've sort of got it down, is I would time on my phone how long it took me to do my set, get out of my set. Because let's say it took me 1 minute 10, then I would time 1 minute 10 as I had a partner doing the set, and then I would get myself into the set after. So it's like I was training with myself, but I've been able to time that rest, because I find when you're training with somebody else, it's like a perfect amount of time between the sets, one on, one off, especially for this style of training. mean, the one downside of training your legs every once a month is obviously when you tube train them, you get quite bad DOMs. I'm going in at a volume what I should be going in if I train them every week. So I mean, that's not ideal in that sense. I just need a bit more density as well from the glutes and hamstrings, I find. So quad work is minimal and the rest is hamstring. Adding things like an RDL or an SLDL into my back day. And then on my other back day doing it with a bent over row as well. So I'm sort of channeling that posterior, loading it a little bit rather than just having a dedicated hamstring day or a posterior day. I don't think it's needed for me. I mean, I get why people love caffeine. Get it. I get it now. Right in this second. But it ruins my appetite as well. So again, leg day ruins my appetite, and then caffeine ruins my appetite. So I'll take less caffeine on leg day. Nice one, Jimmy. Fantastic idea there, Sunshine. I'll still eat all my meals regardless, but it'll just be harder to eat. Have we filmed we haven't filmed the leg day here, have we? So obviously we're in Utrecht, Durham. This is the Cybex Eagle leg extension, what I thought Rotherham had. It is the same, but a little bit different, I think. I don't know if it's a different generation, but this feels very nice. I'll do the same, just titrating up every set. I'll do like a 20, and maybe a 25 or a 30, set one, and then a 20, then a 15, and then a 10, like quite heavy. And really, if I'm being honest, to me that's really my quad work done. But I will put a little bit of a hack in there today as well, just a couple of sets of hack, and that's quad work done. And this is where, do you know, like if you're doing like a push-pull leg setup and you're genetically gifted, and you do delts, like 6 sets a week, fucking fantastic. Genetically, you're gonna grow. If you're not, and you do 6 sets of like quad a week, you aren't going to grow. I don't care fucking who you are. So what I'm doing on here as well is I lift my hips up so I can get the stretch. If I'm here, it's just stretching here. So in order for me to get the stretch all the way up here, I've almost forced my shins down and go from this. So now when I position it, I feel it here. I don't feel it here. So I'm trying to force from here, right from the hip. I may sit down into it, so I'll stretch. And I may sit down, but I'm always going to try and stretch here. Not as exaggerated as that, but that's what I'm doing, if you can't see that externally. I'm still holding on to there, still holding on. Not a fat cunt, yeah. Not from the waist down anyway. That connection is just on the next level. I just wish I connected with everything else with so much ease and intensity as I can there. I'm getting there though with my chest connection. Very good actually. It's been very sore for a lot of these sessions up until this week. It's recovered. It's still actually the sorest muscle. It's the only thing I can still feel some DOMs in, which bodes well. I've never started an off season where I've been able to contract my chest in a press until this one. I definitely see some more fullness coming through, which is a great start of weekend. Might start getting known as that guy with the chest or that guy with the arms rather than, oh, that guy with the quads, which is nice. I shouldn't fucking complain, but I've got other stuff. Right, set 3. This is really where the work starts now. I'm looking for that really deep internal burn that like makes me want to stop before, like 5 reps before I actually stop. Make every rep as hard as I can. That felt lovely. This next set's heavy. I say it's heavy. There's different degrees of heavy, I believe. So, like the adductor upstairs there, for the stack on, it's not heavy. If I wanted to go up there and somebody said, right, I want you to do as many reps as you can with the stack, I could throw out a fucking lot of reps, a hell of a lot of reps. Or someone says to me, go up there and make your adductor with the stack fail as quick as possible. I can probably do it in about 10 reps. So there's a difference there in terms of heavy and how you execute heavy, what you perceive as heavy, what you want to be heavy. And I've got so much into the rhythm of making everything as hard as possible that what's not heavy is now heavy to me. So SLDL in, I think I did like 290 for 9, 290 for 9, or 280 for 8, I can't remember what it was. Now I don't think I could pick that up off the floor, because I'm just moving 280, 290, but I'm not doing it in that manner anymore. So a 3-plate SLDL for me now is enough, but the tension and the stimulus is fucking huge. It's a hell of a lot more than it is with that amount of plates for what I want from it anyway. So choose your heavy, that's what I'm trying to say. That might go on a t-shirt. And the difference is with this, regardless of how I move with my quad, it's gonna hit it. So if I put the stack on and I just fucking Tom Platzed it, it's gonna hit me regardless. But it's good practice to not do that on one body part and not the rest, in my opinion. As people keep telling me on comments, bro science is the science. Because the real science don't fucking make any sense or work. But that's a story. A rant for either later on today or another day. Right, I'm gonna shut up because this caffeine's fucking kicking my ass. So the slow reps there compared to the quick reps, there was no difference in connection. But if I were to do that with a lateral raise or dumbbell press or anything else, there would be. And that's just the varying difference between my quads and everything else, or my upper body and everything else. Right, so we'll do a couple of sets of hack squat now. Nothing groundbreaking, like 3 plates. 2 plates and 3 plates. And that's really just to get the quad in a more of a stretch position, and then that's quad work done. So 2 exercises, 6 sets. Perfect. My quads are blasted. So same principle, just getting heavier every set, but the first set is not a set. I just want to get my foot placement right, get comfortable in the lengthened position, so I'm not just going to go straight to a working set and put my body in a position where I've been for a long time and make sure that feels okay. And then literally 2 plates on this, then 3 plates. Same again, I could put 6 plates on it and move it. It's just a bigger risk of injury, something that's not necessary. This is an exception to the rule as well, so please don't take this as this is what you have to do, this is what I have to do. Not like I'm special or anything like that, but this is just, for example, you may have massive triceps. Some people are born with just that fucking huge croissant tricep. Like you maybe never directly train your triceps, so you might do 2 sets at the end of a session, every now and then. And that's the same thing here. Just obviously in a bigger muscle group. All right, come on, big dogs. But just like in that set, my legs were a little bit high. You can't adjust this foot plate, so you have to get it right first time. If you don't, you either sort of miss the quad a little bit because you can't get that knee flexion, or you've got too much knee flexion and you hurt your knees. So it's always nice to feel it first. So I'll do like 15, 20 reps now, and then like 15 reps, but my quads are deep burning. So this is going to be like an 8 to a 10 set, like a heavy top set for me, this. And I'm also not ashamed to say that if I had 1 plate on it, it was everything for me. I don't fucking care. Judges don't know what you lift. They know what you look like when you present yourself on stage though. Whatever gets you there fastest, most efficient and in the best possible way, that's what we do. If you need gratification every day by lifting a heavy weight to call yourself the fucking big man, the big woman, bodybuilding is potentially not the sport for you, try powerlifting. Okay. I thought that felt lighter. But the worst thing is my left leg's my strongest leg as well. So I've just made my right leg even smaller. That's quads done. No intensifiers needed, just as is. Just work, honest work. And it's also worth noting as well, and I think I've said this probably loads of times, I'll probably repeat myself, but I have a disgusting leg days every week for twice a week for 10 years. Like 30 sets of volume and leg days. Just relentless, disgusting, just go in there, and that's what's built my legs. You know, it may seem easy for me now, but I've put myself in a position where it's easy, or easier. And it's not the message people want to give, but it's how it is. I'll always be 100% honest with everything I do. So very good hamstring machines in this gym. The reason being, if you see the Nautilus and you see, I believe that's maybe an old school flex machine, the position that they put you in is that you're not flat. So your hips are already raised, which means when you're going up, you're not raising your glutes and your hips to move the weight. It's hamstring only, so it's really, really direct. If you have a machine like this in the gym that you train in, use it unless you're very good at connecting with hamstrings, because this puts you in a position where if you're gonna cheat, you're going to be able to feel yourself lifting off the pad, whereas sometimes when you're laying flat you can't really feel if it's yourself lifting or if it's just you using momentum. Just before I go into hamstrings, we always just take a couple of minutes just to let blood flow die down. Otherwise, when the hamstrings in the short, the quad's in that stretch position, which isn't a bad thing, but it just means I can't really connect with my hamstrings as well. for the first few sets. So I'll just let that blood flow just drop off a touch, and then we'll go into hamstrings fresh. So in this position, if I'm going to lift my hips up, I've really got to lift my hips off this pad, so I can just drive my hips forward. That's all hamstring. That feels like a really intense bicep curl. Bodybuilding, you have to be super patient, but it's like, if somebody said to me, right, this is what you have to do for the next 20 years, 10 years ago, I'd be like, I'm okay, thanks. I'll put my effort into business and just be a millionaire instead. But because your goals are your micro goals, you're working towards one post to a next post to a next post, and everything's sort of just in touching distance but far enough away for you to work towards. So for me now, obviously it's qualifying for the Olympia, but within that, there's micro goals of, I need to make this Olympia worthy, I need to make that Olympia worthy. So when I'm coming to the gym, or every day I'm eating, or every day I'm waking up when I don't have to wake up, or every day I'm going for a nap when I don't necessarily want a nap, it's because I want to be better the next session, which is going to then help me get the bigger chest or the bigger arms or the more impressive transformation next time I step on stage. So these things are just weekly and daily, whereas the bigger picture is actually, you know, for me to qualify for Olympia, I'm still thinking 3 years at least, maybe 4, but I'm okay with that. I only need to do it once. I'm never going to be Mr. Olympia, but just to be there is the goal. And then when I qualify for Olympia, then it'll be okay, I want to become top 15, top 20, top 15, top 10. Watch out, Bumstead. I'm coming for you. So heavy set on here now, slight intensifier, so little drop set for me on this one. Again, I just need my hamstrings to come up a little bit just to match the quads. So a little bit more work on these, or a little bit more intensity at least. Bodybuilding, building the body. So you notice, it's slightly hypocritical this actually. When I finished the first set and I failed and I went to the second set, I didn't just like have some kind of attack and just start fucking flipping it around like a dead fish. And I still tried to keep it on the muscle and control it. Now there is a time and a place where you don't have to do that, I do believe that. But I believe in this situation that was needed. Right, so seated hamstring now, which is my least favourite exercise in the gym because I fucking hate the prime. The prime seated hamstring curl is shit. The main reason is the seating angle. You're fucking like this. You don't need to. I feel like I'm in fucking Apollo. And I'm about to take off. Oh fuck. So what I'm doing when I'm coming to the top, I'm almost trying to force myself into the seat more to get more stretch. So like I'm doing on the leg extension, I'm pushing my hips forward to get more stretch on my quad. I'm pushing my hips back to get more stretch on the hamstring. Just getting them little bits of extra length for everybody is a good thing, so I'm told. But it just makes a little difference. Little differences add up to big differences, so I'm told. I think slow acting caffeine's kicking in, Joe. I'm back. I'm ready for it. So again, same principle, heavier every set. The increments on this, I find you get caught out a little bit more, so going a plate up each time is heavier on this. Close to the end of the session as well, so there's fatigue involved. So rather than going a plate up each time, I may just go like a crank on the twist, so £5 rather than the extra like £15 or whatever it goes up in. Smaller incremental increases. Incremental increases. Connecting well with that. Sometimes it just gets me like the bend of the knee and not really like full hamstring, but it's doing that today. Final exercise for today, or abducts here. Well, we've got calves as well. I sort of meant on quad and arm, they don't count. I have been doing some dumbbell RDLs, but yesterday on back day, the pull from the floor I pushed a little bit more than I like in a few reps. My lower back's just a little bit like glass today, so we don't need to do them today. So I use this machine rather than the Atlantis because it puts me in like a length forward position, which at this stage when everything's tired, like even just to lift my leg up now, I can barely do it. So if I engage my hamstring and try and lift my leg up, just under its own weight, so I could do it obviously if I lean forward, but if I put my hip forward, like, that's it. That's as far as I get my leg up. So for me to go on a machine where I'm back there and trying to lift, I'm just gonna cheat because there's no way I can lift my leg any further. So it puts me in this position, I have just a little bit of extra leeway rather than back here to there or here to there. Just picking your battles. Because not all machines are the same. Oh, come on. It's too blown, can't get the detail. Get a mirror shot where, you know, you look in mirror and they look massive, don't they? That's what everyone does now. If I look in that mirror over there, I look fucking massive. Whereas I look in that mirror there, I look a little bit long and skinny. But it's just, you're just fucking lying to yourself. The most honest checking is one where you just got the camera pointing to you. You've not got it at an angle in a mirror, you've not got it low down, you've not got it high up, you've not got it from left to right. I'm gonna have to be that guy who takes his shoes off. Not my socks though, just my shoes. And if you're training bare feet, I'm sorry, stop doing it, please. It's fucking disgusting. Just keep your socks on, which is bad enough, but I don't understand training in bare feet. It's very unhygienic.
You know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are. Come on. Don't let me down. So anyway, yeah, now I've gone on about that. I'm gonna take my shoes off and put my socks on. The reason being is, and I don't know why, so I don't know if any of you have had this. If you have, please let me know if you know what it is. When I do calf raises, only calf raises on any machine, and I've got my shoes on, it almost feels like when I come away, I've got like nerve damage in my feet. Like my feet, I can't feel them. Like it's almost like I'm very club-footed, and I don't know if it's because, I don't know the reason, but if I do it just in my socks, and I've got better range of motion, it doesn't do it. So if you know the reason behind that, please let me know. So, if you're on my coaching team, you're lucky enough to be a team tonk athlete. Joe, you might have these. Do you have 100 calves? So, one thing I like to do, and one thing that brought my calves on really well, was at the end of the session, 100 reps of calves. So that might mean you do 20, you might get 23 before you fail on here. Take 30 seconds. You can go back in on the same machine, or you can go over to another machine and do like 15 before you fail, which will be 38 reps. Have a few seconds, do some standing ones, get to 45, and just keep going round, or mini breaks, and just keep going through until you get 100, and then that's calves done. But you can't really hide from it because you just got to keep going until you get 100. It's very good for bringing calves up. Like, you can't see it, but Joe, cameraman, he's got calves like a roofer. He's only been training, what, 3 months? No calves before, but training is a fantastic drug. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get the best legs in the world. I'd call that like a meat and potato leg day, do you know? It's like doing a bench, a dumbbell press, a dumbbell fly. Basic movements, leg extension, a squat pattern, lying hamstring curl, seated hamstring curl, calves. Pretty much is what that is. And I think that's as complicated as it needs to be a lot of the time. Like if you're struggling to bring your legs up or you're not connecting as well with them, there may be some Bulgarians in there. If we're finding that we've not getting a really good range of motion in a lot of things, we may do some lunges up and down. You know, if for another individual, we may spend more time doing hamstrings. We may do hamstrings first. There's little tweaks we make, but in essence, there's nothing massive. Like a leg day is a leg day. There's an extension in there. There's a squat pattern in there. There's potentially a leg press in there. And there's, you know, if you're doing hamstrings along with quads, there's a lying, a seated, and maybe like a hip hinge. in every leg day across the fucking world. Yeah, the leg development across the board in people is completely different. And that's number one, genetic, 100%. And then number two, execution. I might just become like the Tom Platz of 2020. Fuck everything else off and just get like 35-inch legs. Just disgusting. So let's say you're in my position right now and you have the potential for your legs to grow. What would you do? Would you just get absolutely fucking wham legs and let your upper body suffer in terms of proportion? Yeah, so this will just never be anywhere near the muscularity, fullness or impressive as that. Or would you allow your physique to balance, allow your upper body to grow over time to catch up and have a balanced physique? Which is personally what I'm doing. To be a competitive bodybuilder, like from a freak factor, put some skinny jeans on and walk around with 34-inch legs. There's one advantage there, you look like a fucking freak. The other advantage is when you're naked, it makes your cock look tiny because your legs are so big. So you gotta be packing. Luckily I am. Joe will sort the pole out. Do we go for Tom Platz massive legs or do we go for balanced physique? And why? So comment, why? Why would you? I've got no doubt I could have some of the best legs in the classic division in Ifbb Pro, which is a huge accolade, but it's a physique contest, and that's the point I drive home, and the point that people miss, and the point that some of you still can't get to grips with. And like, I'm not saying everybody bodybuilds, not everybody trains to build muscle, but someone made the point of that, completely valid point. People train for something which is, which ties into what we'll touch on a little bit with Neil passing, is like bodybuilding or training is therapy. You are not a good bodybuilder for no reason. Generally, the best bodybuilders are the one with the darkest problems. Me, for example, Neil most definitely, for example, and any bodybuilder at a certain level, at somewhere there's something locked away, if they know it or not, that is driving them to do what they're doing. This is not fucking normal. Like to us right now, and to pretty much 99.9% of people watching this YouTube, or all 50 of you, then we understand it because we're immersed in it. But you stand outside of this box, like you go around, say the UK for example, and stand outside Birmingham Town Hall on a Saturday when you've got people walking around in a tan with a thong on. It's just the weirdest thing ever, and people won't understand why do you want to do that to yourself. Why do you want to look like that? So many people have said to me, you've ruined yourself. I used to be such a good looking lad with all this. Like, I don't give a fuck, I don't do this for the way I look. But there's more to just bodybuilding than one dimension. But in the sense of competing, the aim is to bring the most balanced, muscular, conditioned package. That is my goal. If that means losing size from here, or gaining size from here, or sacrificing, stealing from Peter to fucking pay Paul, that's what it is, and that's the game. It's not just come in and do everything you can. It gets more intricate than that. Initially it is, but it gets a lot more intricate than that. And obviously, that my goal is to be able to be judged in a way that scores me highly. So I can get the condition, that's not an issue. It's just it's just the muscularity, which is the problem. And you'll see throughout this off-season as well, why, because when my food is so high and I'm 290 pounds, you think there's no way that I could go get as small as I do. But I do. And it's just a conundrum that we're still trying to figure out, which again makes it exciting for me because I know that one day we'll get it right and it'll look fucking fantastic, because I have had glimpses, and I'm not an arrogant or a cocky person in any way. I've got an underdog mentality and I always will, but I have had glimpses in the gym post-workout sometimes where I'm thinking, well, okay, I can compete here. And that's what keeps me driving forward, because right now I feel awful. I feel like I look awful, and I don't know how I'm a pro bodybuilder, but there are times when I know I can be, and I know I am. So let's get this session. This is the session wrapped up anyway. Like, people are watching this, and I can't really speak about it, to be honest with you. I'm not ready to. But people who are watching this know, like, obviously what's happened recently with Neil passing, and that me and Neil were close for a long time, and we trained together for a long time, 9 sessions a week, every day. And today's helped me keeping my mind occupied, and when I'm in the gym, I don't think about it, and again, the reason why training is therapy, because even Joe behind the camera, the people that through the camera, you know why you come, and you know how it makes you feel when you're here. If that's a release of aggression, if that's a release of just energy that you have that you can't put into other areas of your life, or if it's just getting numb and forgetting about it, like this is the place to do it. I'm losing my train of thought, but I didn't want to come on today and just be a negative and stuff like that. And in time, I'll be able to touch on things a little bit better. But right now, just today, filming, just keeping myself occupied, training, like I said, and I've got some. I went and bought a car yesterday for no reason, just to try and make myself feel better. It doesn't work, so don't waste money like that. But I will touch on it soon, but just not yet. And I've not posted anything on Instagram because I don't fucking like Instagram. Neil didn't like Instagram. We do it because we have to. If we weren't bodybuilders, we both openly said many times that we wouldn't have Instagram. So me putting a fucking picture of me on Instagram means nothing. To me anyway. To other people that's fine. You know, everybody vents differently, that's cool. But I just, you know, I'm not a private person, I'm very open, but at the same time my personal life is not intertwined with bodybuilding. Really. So yeah, he'll be sorely missed, and yeah, like I said, I'll touch on it another time, so I'll fucking cry my eyes out and I'll start talking about it. So ending on that note, thank you for tuning in, guys. That's the leg session. Again, no bells or whistles. But as the off season goes on, now my recovery is a lot better. The intensifiers, the intensity techniques, the drop sets, the rest pause sets, the ladders, the 5x5s will start to come in, and the makeup of the sessions will be different. And also, we were going to talk about cycle, but again, we'll do that next video, something a little bit different. And yes, thank you for tuning in. We'll leave it there, and I'll see you next time.